Hey, what's up, YouTube? I want to make a short video on how to teach English in Latin America without a college degree. This is going to be a short video and it's not exhaustive, but here's just an example of a way to get a job without a college degree and get a work permit and not work for cash under the table or do anything illegal if that bothers you. All over Latin America, it's pretty well known you can work under the table for cash. You don't really need a visa. I mean, most of the time, no one's going to snitch on you and kick you out of the country or anything. But in Mexico, especially in Central America, you don't really need a degree or a TESOL. You should have one, but you don't really need one. In Colombia and South America, as here I'm on Green Heart Travel, I'll put the link in the description. Anyways, in Colombia, they have these programs all over the country to teach English, and I'll just show you a little bit. While I'm doing that, scrolling down, most of the time you can just apply at schools and they'll just pay you cash. You don't really need to worry about a work visa. But anyways, if you go to their FAQs, you can get some of the lowdown. For 2018, they're all full up. You can't apply, but you can apply for next year. And here they tell you you need a TP1 visa. And then here they tell you like how much money to have when you get there. You'll need enough money to fly there. And you need enough money for travel insurance, was going by what they're saying, $300 for the full year or $150 for a semester. It's mostly health insurance, if I understand right. And you need to bring enough money to do whatever you got to do if there's an emergency. They're saying $1,000. I'm saying 1,000, a couple thousand, whatever you think you'll need to get home in an emergency or something, and to get an apartment and or whatever you plan on doing there. Travel expenses maybe on the weekend. They pay a stipend. I think it's $500 or $600. There's a lot of different programs that do the same thing in Colombia, but they don't all pay the same. Some are $300 or $400, and then they'll pay you meals separately. Some are $500. Anyways, let's see what we got here. Yeah, they pay $1,500,000, which is about $500. As an example, they show you, make a little bit less than that. People really do live on $300 or $400 a month, but usually they have several people in a household that do that. Anyways, they give an example here of you can expect to pay $300,000 in rent or to $600,000. $600,000 would be a lot nicer, but the really nice places are going to be $1 million or more, which would be most of your salary. But you can rent a room for $300,000 and get it for, according to them, you get a furnished place for $600,000. And it's just like Mexico. Meals cost $2 or $3 at the low end, $5 or $6 in the middle, and $8 to $12 at the high end. Anyways, they give you examples of what things cost here on this page. I'll leave the link in the description as far as the website. Just want to go back to where we were on the frequently asked questions. Anyways, if you scroll down, they give you an example of the difference between Bogota and a rural area. Rural areas cost a lot less, and in the city you're going to pay $500,000 or up. Keep in mind, if you hunt around for rooms for rent in an apartment or in a house, it can be a little bit less than even what they're saying here. Here's the safety of Colombia, a lot safer than Mexico right now. And you can't bring your pets or your children. Then they talk about insurance requirements, and here it is. Do you need a TESOL or TEFL? No, but it helps. According to them, they like it, but if you don't, they'll still consider you, and you don't need a college degree. And then they give you how to apply and whatnot, and then they charge a program deposit. So that's how most of these programs work. Green Heart isn't the only one by any stretch of the imagination. It's just an example of one of many that are out there. You can search for them online. Or there's this young lady who has a report for $30, I think, and she gives you all the details too. Let me just go. Here's another one. I think this is a more religious-based one, but this is in Colombia too. It's Heart for Change. You can Google that, or I'll leave a link in the description. Some of their programs require a college degree, some of them don't. But keep in mind, when people say they need a college degree, a lot of times they're flexible and they don't if they don't have anyone for the region of the country that they need. Like in rural Colombia, it's just like rural Thailand. Maybe they say they need a degree, but they're more flexible. If no one's applying, like in Thailand, example, if you're applying for Chai Mei, you're going to need a degree and all that stuff. And the rural areas, no. Anyways, here they give you 2 meals a day. You teach on site. They pay you, I think, 300, a little under $400. Plus, they include 2 meals a day in that, so it's a little different. Anyways, just some more information on this. Whether it's Heart for Change or whether you go to Columbia or whether you go anywhere else, a lot of these programs, if you don't have a college degree, if you have a TEFL, that's even better. But if you can just get that, even the internet ones that people say aren't any good, even that will get you in the door. As far as Southeast Asia goes, you can teach in Cambodia and Thailand, Vietnam. I know quite a few people who don't have college degrees, but they have a TEFL, and they teach you. The thing with Cambodia now, they recently changed their visa laws, so to get a business visa, you need a 6-month business visa, where previously you didn't, and you need to pay the 10% tax now, which when you go there, it's pretty explanatory. But the schools, some will get you a visa, some won't without a college degree, but most people just work under the table. Now, as far as working under the table in Thailand and Cambodia, 80 to 90% of the teachers are doing that. So if that's your dream or you want to do that, I would just say go for it. But if you're going to be teaching without a degree in the big cities, it's much, much more difficult now. But there's a workaround, like in China and Thailand, like you may not qualify for a visa if you don't have a college degree, but sometimes they can get you one. They can get you a visa, but it's not a work visa. They sometimes do that. I don't want to talk too much about that. Some people it irritates them, but like a teaching assistant, they have just these different things you can get, but you're not technically having a work permit for being a teacher, but you actually teach, but you have like some kind of voluntary type visa thing. Just a few words on who this could work for. Like if you're an expat and you have a side income or something you do on side, because these salaries are pretty low, that's why I don't really suggest it. This can work for that if you have a side income, because these incomes are actually pretty low. This is also for people who want to learn how to be of service in the community, how to pass on your skills as far as being a teacher and teaching something. One thing when you go to these countries, you can also get side income by being a tutor, like a math tutor or an English tutor to kids. A lot of times you can make actually pretty good money. In Asia, it's sometimes $25 an hour. Even in Guatemala, where I live, I know quite a few people who teach online who charge about $25 an hour for tutoring, mostly English tutoring, conversational Spanish tutoring. So that could work for a person like who has enough time in the day to do a side hustle or a side income. If you do certain kind of trading strategies, that's what I do. It can work. But if you had to rely on this kind of income long term, I wouldn't really suggest it. It's okay if you're younger. It's okay if you're retired and you have a pension coming in. But this would work perfectly for people who don't have a lot of money and have a side income or are building a side income on the side. They can get their expenses paid for by someone else. They can learn a new skill. They can be of service in the local community. And while you're there, being of service, you're going to meet a lot of people. That's another reason to do them. Despite the low pay, you'll meet a lot of people. You'll make a lot of connections. And when you build up trust in these institutions and these societies, you can start a business. You'll get the contacts and the knowledge to start a business. Whereas if you just go in, you don't know anyone. That's how people usually get ripped off. That's why I suggest, to use this as a strategy. Like if you have a part-time income trading, that's what I do. You can just use this as a sideline income to live overseas, to pay your expenses and to build up contacts. You also can use the opportunity to hustle, like if you want to be a tutor or if you want to meet people, build up contacts and start up a business. This can give you the breathing room you need as far as living expenses if you don't have a lot of capital or a lot of money saved up. My channel is for like expats who are not on a huge budget. This is why I'm putting that out there. So this is by no means for Colombia. These two programs I showed, these are by no means all of them. There's many. And it's the same in China. Like in China, they have quite a few programs for people who don't have college degrees. Now, It's controversial because every once in a while the Chinese government says they're going to start enforcing the law, but it seems like half of China you have to have a degree, and the other half of China you don't. But here's the thing: if you get in and you're young enough, or if you get the visa, even if you only get the visa for a year or two, it's good because you can get there. You can start a side hustle of tutoring. Most tutors I know make $25 an hour and up there. You can save a big chunk of change. You can use that to start your business. That's another thing. If you go to Asia and you start and you teach English and you have a strategy of using your savings to buy homes in the U.S. to rent out, that's one strategy. Or to start your business or whatever you use for your trading accounts. Now I'm more of a trader and I use my income for various things, but sometimes real estate. But anyways, you see where I'm going with this. Like if you get into China and you get a visa, even if they change the rules, if you build up enough trust there and if you met enough people, you can have a nice tutoring business that pays you much better than a teaching job. Just in China, they can pay a couple thousand, but usually they want you to start out at 1,200 if you don't have a lot of experience, if you don't have a degree. But what's cool is they'll train you, they'll get you the work permit or then the visa, and then when you're not doing that, you can build up your side hustle. You can work on your side income, and you can do some tutoring. In Latin America, the money isn't as great, but on $500 or $600, you can live not everywhere. You're not gonna live high on the hog. You'll be renting a room or renting a small studio apartment. And tutoring locally usually doesn't pay that much, $2 to $5 to $10 an hour. It just depends. Now, the thing about Latin America is there's a lot of Asian immigrants. You can tutor them for $12 to $25 an hour if you have that as a niche. Some of my friends do that, just to put that out there. There's different niches you can do, like tutoring and math. But in Latin America in general, you're not going to make as much money as Asia as a tutor or as an English teacher. But there are opportunities if you don't have a college degree and you want an official government program to be involved in, a visa and all that. If you don't, you can just fly in to Colombia or Mexico or anywhere almost. And if you go to enough schools and apply, they'll eventually hire you. The salary is no good, usually not too much, $500 or $600. And some of these schools usually don't pay you in full; they only pay you half anyways. That's why I don't really recommend it. That's why if you are going to teach English, I really think you should be a tutor, an English tutor or a conversational tutor. You make a lot more money. You can do it online, and you can have people paying in advance, so you don't have to worry about not getting paid. Anyways, this video's gone on long enough. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, share. Tell me what you think. Thanks.